We're about to walk into our 10th Pokemon generation, and it is our third one with a more tropical region. First came Hoenn and then came Alola, which is honestly the one that is remembered as the more tropical or island experience. Still, I do believe that this latest region might end up being the one that we consider the most tropical of all, but there's no denying all of them will be tropical, and because of that, well, hey, I'm not so a strainer, and maybe we can use the past to predict the future. Let's get into it. What makes me look at the past to try and explain the present or predict the future is not only because I really do enjoy it, but also because what we currently know about these games makes me think it is something we should be doing. First, judging by the website that tells us that during this adventure we'll be able to team up with all kinds of Pokemon to overcome both the difficult road ahead and also whatever else blocks our path, we'll be doing something that we have done in Gen 7, Alola, the tropical region. Poke Rides at the same time did exactly the same thing, not with our Pokemon of course, but we used Pokemon, we rode Pokemon in order to overcome obstacles. Then diving, a beloved and deeply missed mechanic, is also making a return. And while we dove to get to the Abyssal Ruins in Unova, the Gen 5 region, this mechanic is very much tied to Hoenn, the other tropical region. As you can see, there might be something going on. Now, one mechanic that I won't be talking about, but I think there's a high chance it comes back, is soaring from the Gen 3 remakes. Because if you've watched my last couple of videos, you do know that I don't think the sky will be off limits to us. I mean, even looking at this image from back then, we can imagine ourselves doing the same thing to the Black Cloud from the trailer. What I'm going to talk about is the return of something else that is also deeply missed and definitely beloved, and those are secret bases. This was a feature that let you use the move Secret Power outside of battle and in certain specific areas of the map. Then it would let you access a space within those areas for you to build your secret base in. Once inside, you could decorate the place to your heart's content with stuff that you found throughout the game, and sometimes even visit other people's secret bases within your game. Despite this feature being tied to Gen 3, which makes sense as secret bases in that actual name have only existed in the OG Gen 3 Ruby, Sapphire and Emerald and the remakes Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, Alola also plays a big role in this theory, as I don't think we're going to have secret bases how they traditionally were, but actually in the form of secret islands. And I mean that Alola is tied to the theory because of how the Poképelago is created by us on deserted islands in the Alola region. I think that in Pokémon Winds and Pokémon Waves we'll see something similar, but with the uninhabited islands of this new region. In the trailer, we can already spot some small islets that do not have any civilization or anything like that in them, meaning that there are probably a lot more in the whole region, and some of them might actually be related to this feature. I believe we might be able to take over them and customize them to our liking, creating some kind of like Pokemon camp where we can spend some time in, or just have our Pokemon rest a little bit, and also decorate it the way we want with stuff we find throughout the games. You know, like the secret bases of old, or even like our room back in Gen 2. The hotel is certainly going to be our base of operations, a place to where we have to constantly return in order to interact with probably the professor of this game, while the other is the spot where we can just chill or spend some quality time. In fact, there's a chance that not only the Black Cloud is a hint at a gameplay feature, or the glowing Slugma is a hint at a Pokemon lighting up a cave, but this here is also a hint at a possible secret base, and instead of using uninhabited islands, we actually create our own platforms in the ocean where it is safe for us to do so. I also feel like it fits what it appears that we're doing. We look like researchers, which means we'll have to, in theory and even if temporarily, camp in some places. Kinda like we did in Pokemon Legends Arceus, where we were also part of the research team, but now we have a saying on the decoration. Now, if this does happen and we have islands or platforms, do I think it is the best approach? Not really. I always loved going through Hoenn and seeing the little spots and saying, oh, I can use secret power over there, then going in and seeing the place is all messed up and I have to adapt to it. But it is better than nothing. And with open world games, the focus is always more on moving than on staying, so I could see something like this more obvious and more, in your face being the go-to for a feature like this. If it even ends up being an actual thing. I'm just going by the whole tropical things happening in Pokemon Winds and Pokemon Waves. But what about you? Would you like to see the return of secret bases, and do you actually see them returning anytime soon? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one. But before I go, I want to thank my YouTube members Good Old Deo, Sean Speaks and Dash Plays, and my Twitch subscribers Anubis Here, Zanes222, Lazarix, The Dr. Joe, and Teixeira23 for going that extra mile. Thank you so much for all of your support.